If your team got guaranteed money, tell them call me.
Whoop. Make me say, my.
I done been around the world. Yeah, I was made for this.
Player Performance with J.A. Cavalier.
Ho, ho, ho. Welcome back to another episode of Player Performance. I am Santa Cav, your favorite capper's favorite capper. First off, big fat congrats to all those who won the Santa Cav giveaway. We gave away 14 Amazon gift cards. We're going to give away another 3 Amazon gift cards on this show. Actually, from last week's show, we owe 3 of you. We're going to make sure that we message the winners. We'll get to that in just a sec. We'll also get to the free picks in just a sec. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Now go ahead and subscribe. Everybody else, make sure you drop a hammer. Give us a like. Appreciation. Always appreciated. NFL Week 17 in just a sec. But first, let's recap Week 16 with Tessa Hall.
Back it up.
One more time.
All right, let's see that again.
Here's your NFL Week 16 recap. Harbaugh versus Peyton. Fun man always wins. Advantage LA. The Chiefs are a well-oiled machine. The Texans are confusing and down another receiver. Every time I think the Ravens are close to getting beat, Lamar does Lamar things. Sorry, Steelers. Michael Penix Jr. put Kirk in the home and got the Dirty Birds a win. Did anyone need to watch the Bears and Lions to know who watched the Bears and Lions game? The Cards desperately needed a win, so of course they lost to the Panthers in overtime. Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown to Devontae Adams and scored 9 total points in a loss. Game of the week, Eagles and Commanders, and JD did it again. Give him Rookie of the Year. Joey B versus Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a matchup no one wanted and everyone could have predicted. Bengals win. Colts and Titans, bad teams, but 68 total points. They really don't care, do they? Justin Jefferson is like a bad boyfriend on Valentine's Day. Heartbreaker. The Bills did some good charity for the holidays. They let the Pats lose by just 3. Congrats, Raiders. You won the game and lost the top pick in the draft. The Dolphins did a mean thing and beat up on the already eliminated 49ers. Hold on to the ball. I repeat, hold on to the ball. Poor Bucks gave it away. We waited for Week 17 to see the worst primetime game of the year. Blowout on Monday Night Football. That's your NFL Week 16 recap.
That's right, guys. Tis the season. Tis the season for winners. Listen, last week was pretty much a 50-50 week for yours truly. This week has not started so hot. Some really bad coaching, even worse quarterback play. But this is what happens come this time of year every year. I've always said this, the first 2 and last 2 weeks of the NFL season, typically the most difficult to handicap. Not saying a whole lot considering we swept the board in week 1 this year. So we're looking to obviously, we'll find spots. We'll find winners. We always do. But the board starts to narrow down a little bit because now you have teams not playing for anything. Like, I'm not going to sit here and bet anything or get to the window with anything in the Saints-Raiders game. When teams have more to gain by losing, you honestly want to stay away from those spots. Now, of course, it's up to you. Your money, you do what you like. But I know for me and my money, I cannot back a team with nothing to play. Just can't do it. And it doesn't mean that you just load up on the teams with something to play for. However, I would prefer to look to get to the window with something on a team that has something to play for. It may not be laying a big number like with the Bills this week, laying 10.5. I may not lay the 10.5. But I may look for an alternative line or maybe a different way of playing the Buffalo Bills. I probably want some action on Buffalo because I do like Buffalo and I even like them laying the 10.5 this week. But I'm just using them as an example. The windows start to tighten. So now as things get a little bit more difficult in the NFL towards the end of the season, but it's okay. Because this is the time of year where the NBA actually starts to open up. You know what to say, as one door closes, another one opens. We're going to get to NFL Week 17 right now. Free picks. Let's go.
Chargers versus Patriots.
Chargers are laying 4. The total here is at 42.5. And everyone, and I do mean everyone, is on the bolts in this spot. Sharp, squares, cappers who claim to be sharp, the talking heads on YouTube. And yes, I'm also going to be on LA. Just not certain how I'm actually going to play it or how I'm going to get there. I'm going to look for an alt manner. You guys know me. For New England, this is just a huge reverse spot. last week versus Buffalo, right? They pretty much played their best game of the year. And it makes sense. Division rival, show out, all chips on the table. Beat them last year as well. That was in New England. This year they fell short. Drake May, Tom Brady couldn't tell the difference on Sunday. Massive correction spot here this week, coming off a loss. Crazy to think the Patriots played their best game of the season and still lost. Chargers dominated last week. It's pretty simple here for me. Chargers are the best scoring defense in the league, 13 points a game. For New England, they're 30th in scoring. As good as they played last week, they still only put up 21. Jim Harbaugh wants the playoffs. He's going to be aggressive on defense, and you know they're going to show up. LA should win and cover this game easily. 7-3 against the spread their last 10 games. Trust me, I wanted to get to the window with the Patriots. Just can't do it. I'm on the Chargers in this spot.
Broncos versus Bengals.
So the Bengals are laying 3 in this spot. We have the tickets on the Bengals, the money coming in on the Broncos. What that simply means for those who ask, Bengals mean public, sharps mean Broncos, right? Like that's the way they want it. The public's on the Bengals, the sharps are on the Broncos. For me, this has to be a Bengals spot. They're playing for their entire season right here. I'm going to ride what was cash for me pretty much every week. We took Joe Burrow's touchdown prop last week. Well, why not back it again? Over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Yes, Broncos have a much better defense than Cleveland does. Doesn't matter. Joe Burrow's on another level. And I'm going to say it. If the Bengals were guaranteed a playoff spot, Burrow's MVP. Not Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Burrow has 39 passing touchdowns, first in passing yards, 30 QBR, legit has the best receiving core in the NFL. And I don't care, it's not even debatable or questionable. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, the best tandem in the league. Burrow has now hit this prop in 7 straight. I get how good this Denver secondary is. But they played Jameis a few weeks back. He tossed 4 touchdowns on them. They've given up 30 plus in 2 of their last 3. Bengals are fighting for their playoff lives. Burrow is going to show up. Slim Shady is going to show out. Give me Slim Shady. Yes, the real Shady. Give me Joe Burrow over 2.5 passing touchdowns.
Cardinals versus Rams.
So the Rams are laying 6.5. The total here is at 47.5. This one opened up at 4. It immediately went up to 6. Then, of course, 6.5 where it's landed. I expected to get to 7 closer to game time. Adios to the Cardinals. Flew the coop, flying south for the winter. Their season has now ended. Nice run, but it's done. And how embarrassing. It ended at the hands of the Carolina Panthers. Basically, the arm of Bryce Young. Worse, I had the Cardinals ticket. It's sad to say, but look, even in this spot, I can't lay 6.5. Can't trust the Rams defense to get stops. Even in the loss, Cardinals did hit their team total last week, as we said they would on this show, and of course that ticket did cash. I'm going LA team total over in this spot. It's sitting at 27.5 right now. You got Coop, Nakua, and Williams all playing at high levels. This team has legit playmakers. Last home game, it was when they dropped 44 on the Buffalo Bills, and that's a top 5 defense. Cardinals 24th in yards per play, 15 in points allowed. What's worse is their EPA per play. 4th worst in the NFL. Stafford will have no issues moving the ball. Williams is a beast right now, in absolute beast mode. 3 of his last 4 games, he's gone over 100 yards with 5 touchdowns in those games. Cardinals have the 4th worst EPA rush, 25th in yards allowed per rush. If Williams gets off, Stafford's going to be able to do anything he wants. Rams also control their own destiny, which is pretty much the big momentum here. Give me the Rams getting up and over their team total, which is at 27.5 right now.
Jets versus Bills.
So Buffalo's laying 10.5. The total here is at 46.5. Guys, we have to imagine by now that Rodgers knows he's fried, done, stick a fork in him. This was the best, right? So the guy makes a documentary about himself. I mean, who the fuck does that? Who makes a documentary and then drops it mid-season? Is it that important for you to try and stay relevant? Look, and we also know one thing. Buffalo played like shit last week, right? And we could say it was a look-ahead spot, but I'm sure they weren't looking ahead to the Jets this week. It is a bounce-back spot at home, and I get 10.5 is big. but so is my confidence in the Buffalo Bills. Chiefs rolled yesterday. Ravens rolled on Christmas. Buffalo locks in the 2 seed with the win. So there is a ton to play for here. They need one more win. Remember, the Ravens actually have the head-to-head over Buffalo. So expect the Bills to run it. They're going to run it down the Jets' throats. Top 10 rushing attack. Jets D ranked 16th. James Cook over 100 rushing in 3 of 4. 4 rushing touchdowns in those games. Second best offense in the league. And against the Jets, I mean, the Jets allowed 23 a game, right? 16th in the NFL. Rodgers isn't going to contribute much. I don't even know if he's going to play. I don't care if he plays. I don't care if he doesn't play. I mean, I don't even know who their backup is. That's how fucking irrelevant the Jets are right now. What did Rodgers do last week? Put up a whopping 9 points. Buffalo's D 11th in scoring. Bills should put up a crooked number in this spot. So I am going to find some way to back the Buffalo Bills. I like the Bills in the head of a 3-team 10-point teaser, of course. Maybe some Bills team totals over. First half, first quarter, triple crown, go first quarter, first half, full game. It's all fucking good. They're playing the Jets. The fucking Bills are going to win this game in a big, big way. I will say this. What I do worry about in a spot like this is they get up by a big number, and then obviously you're going to sit Josh because Josh is coming in questionable. But as we know, that was the left hand, not the throwing hand. He banged it last week. Got a little boo-boo. I think he's going to be okay. Give me the Buffalo Bills in this spot. We'll call it 10.5 just for show's sake.
J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. 3 NFL games for this Sunday. 3 straight, 3 two-team parlays, 1 week, $99. His Pro Football Triple Crown must go 3-0 or the entire NFL season is free. J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. Link in the description below. Click the link now and jump on the money train.
Raiders versus Saints.
Raiders are laying 1.5. The total here is at 37.5. Look, guys, the Saints are a joke. Spencer Rattler, goose egg on prime time. Jake Haener, even worse. Sure, the Raiders won last week, right? Totally fucked up the draft order for themselves. But I get it. Antonio Pierce fighting for a job. He's a dead man walking. We all know it. His job is gone. His future in the NFL, questionable at best. But look, you know what? I said it last week. I'm not touching this fucking game. These two teams have a combined 22 losses. Rizzy also fighting for a job. It would be the Saints or nothing for me in this spot, but it's absolutely nothing. Both organizations looking forward to the draft. I'm just going to pass. Good luck to any fucking moron who bets this game.
Colts versus Giants.
Indianapolis Colts are laying 8. The total here is at 48.5. Money and tickets are all on the Colts. I had the Colts last week, and now they're laying 8. Look, I get it. Worst team in the league, right? But come on. 8 with Indy? 8 with Anthony Richardson? I won't do it. I can't do it. I also can't back the Giants, but listen, this would be the most New York Giant thing to do is to actually come out and win this game and give up that number 1 overall. If there's any team that could do it, it would be the New York Giants.
Don't do it.
Still, I can't do it. I can't back the Giants. I will back their defense, though. It's the only bright spot. Actually, it's going to be the best unit of the 4 units that'll be on the field this Sunday. Colts team total under 24.5. Indy's averaging 21 a game, 21st in total yards, 28th in passing yards, 32nd in completion percentage, 7th worst EPA per pass play in the fucking season. Translation, Anthony Richardson sucks. 8 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, QBR 47, laying 8, really? Giants 7th best against the pass. Jonathan Taylor, huge week last week, but guys, lightning does not strike twice. Even if JT runs well, I still see these drives ending in 3 points. 25 is a steep number, too high to lay. Colts haven't hit this in 3 of 10 games. Give me the Colts team total under 24.5.
Cowboys versus Eagles.
Eagles are laying 9. The total here is at 41. Look, I like the Cowboys and the 9. You know, there is a narrative going around right now, and so let me address it. People are starting to get this idea that I'm actually a Cowboys fan. And yeah, maybe I was when I was like 12, you know, running around in my cowboy hat, pair of 6 shooters, you know, infatuated with the star and the helmets, Tom Landry roaming the sidelines. America's team, right? But understand this, and I want to say this. I want you guys just to understand something. I do not pledge an allegiance to any team in the NFL. I don't get the fanatic thing. I don't have that gene. All I understand is winning, and my allegiance changes week to week. I care about paying my bills, but I am on the Cowboys in this spot. 9 is just a massive number here, and I get CD's out. They shut him down for the season. But Philly's coming in off of a loss. Jalen Hurts got hurt. No faith in Kenny Pickett. I do have faith in Cooper Rush. All Rush does is win. 4-1 in their last 5 games, 26 plus in those 4 wins, 286 passing yards last week, sacked twice in 2 weeks. Biggest difference between Dak and Rush, and I'll say it again, Rush is not going to hand the game away. Great with the ball protection, 9 picks, 2 interceptions last 5 games. Pickett comes in last week, throws a bad, and I mean terrible interception. Philly was 3 of 16 on third downs. Philly's defense held up all year, but they got torched for 36 last week. It's week 17. Defense is beat up, tired. Dallas is averaging 27 over their last 5 games. Don't need them to score 50 in this spot. I just need them to keep to their average, score about 25, and stay within the 9 points. I'm not expecting the Cowboys win. I don't care if the Cowboys win. Just keep it close.
Panthers versus Buccaneers.
The Bucs are laying 8. The total here is at 49.5. So my best bet last week, we pretty much faded the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We more so faded Baker in that spot. But that was just a good spot for us. We sold high on the Buccaneers, sold high on Baker. The Bucs offense was rolling. Everyone was singing Baker praises. I said as soon as that happens, he usually lets you down. But not here, not this spot. Because that was a nationally televised game, a national spotlight game. He was due for a letdown. This spot, we're back in the Bucs. We're back on the Bucs offense here. Carolina gives up a ton of points. Bucs are going to get whatever they want on offense. The team total right now sits at 29.5, and I think this goes way over. The Cardinals scored 30 last week, so the Bucs should hit that number easily. Bucs 5th in points per game, 4th best offense in yards, 4th best in rushing. They score nearly 29 a game every game out. Panthers 32nd in points allowed, allow an average of 30 a game. 31st in EPA per pass, 8th worst in passing yards, 32nd in rushing yards. That's a terrible look when you're facing a 2-headed monster like White and Bucky Irving. More important, the Bucs are fighting for a postseason spot. That's a narrative you're going to hear a lot on this show. Atlanta could easily lose this week, should lose this week. That puts Tampa back in the driver's seat. It all starts with the offense for Tampa. I think Tampa puts up a big number here. I'm not going to lay the 8, but I will take the Buccaneers team total over 29.5.
Tell me what you gonna do now. Keep rolling.
Titans versus Jaguars.
Jaguars are laying 1. The total here is at 40. So you guys remember what I said about, the Jaguars Raiders last week? Well, the same fucking applies here. These are 2 3-12 teams. Won't get to the TV. I'm not going to get to the window. I'm not backing 2 teams fighting for the top spot in the draft. No Trevor Lawrence. God knows who's going to play quarterback for the Titans. It's week 17, man. I know it sounds crazy, but it's tanking time. This is where bad teams win by losing games. I'll let that one sit with you for a while.
Dolphins versus Browns.
Dolphins are laying 6.5. The total here is at 40.5. Now, this was a tough game for me. I mean, I wanted to get to the Dolphins. I can't get to the Dolphins. I can't lay it with Miami. I mean, slim is the playoff hopes right now. Last week they survived. I'm not going to say won. They pretty much survived. I see the same game here this week, playing for the last spot. Browns are dead. Browns have been dead pretty much all season long, and DTR is really fucking bad. Did you watch that game last week? I mean, if your answer was no, well, then you're a much better man than I am. 45 QBR rating, 2 picks. Nick Chubb done for the season. Miami is excellent against the run. 6th in yards allowed, 7th best EPA per rush. Allowed 81 total rushing yards last week. 10th best in scoring. Miami should win this game, and they should win there by margin. They could actually win this game just on defense alone, but still, I can't lay it. I would look for a money line parlay, maybe put the Dolphins in the front end. I'm just scared of the Tua in the cold. I mean, that's a real thing. The Finns run game also has been a no-show. That's a real thing. So, but if I'm going to get to the window with this at all, it's going to be the Miami Dolphins. Can't touch their team total. I'm not laying 6.5. I would put them in the front end of a 2-team money line parlay. You know we love those fucking things.
Packers versus Vikings.
So the money and tickets are coming in here on the Packers. I may be a little bit biased here. See, I want Green Bay to lose. No, I want Green Bay to suffer. And why am I so angry? Did they cost me money? Nope. Just the opposite. I made $15K off of them over the fucking New Orleans Saints. 15,000 in tickets, all three cashed. 5K across the board. First half minus the 6.5. First half over a touchdown and a half. Obviously, they scored the 2. Even had an alt line parlay. So I cashed big. But Matt LaFleur is a scumbag. He broke a cardinal rule. Up 30 plus in the fourth, and he's airing it out. What a scumbag move. Going forward on 4th and 2 at the end of the game when you're up 27, I want Skull here. I want Skull to bash in their skulls. Minnesota 10-4-1 against the spread this season, 7-1 at home. Won the first game 31-29. 8 straight wins, divisional game. Division games come down to one thing, defense. Who's going to get the last stop? And my money, of course, is going to be on Brian Flores. Minnesota's second best in scoring. First in interceptions, 5th in total sacks, 2nd in EPA per play, 1st in EPA per rush. Negative .18 is a crazy number. Swallowing up running backs like girls on OnlyFans. Flores is aggressive. He hides coverages. Week 17, week of Christmas, sell out and loud as hell in Minnesota. Give me Skull. They're going to win this game by double digits. Let's go.
Falcons versus Commanders.
So the Commanders are laying 4. The total here is at 47.5. So Michael Penix Jr. came in last week, put a little bit of life into the Dirty Birds. He got himself a win. I wouldn't call it a big win. I mean, it was against the Giants. Now you have to face the Commanders. Washington needs a get-right game. And I get it. They won last week. But hear me out. Their defense was awful. Daniels threw 2 interceptions. They had 3 fumbles. So this is a get-right game. I'm not going to lay 4. I want this under a field goal. I don't want to lay more than a field goal in this spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy it down, cost myself a little bit of sugar money, a little bit of extra vig. No problem. Get this one at 3 or 2.5. Get it under a field goal. Penix Jr. didn't really play all that well. Didn't throw a touchdown. He had an interception. Not all wins are created equal. Do you really believe he's going to be able to keep up with JD and his Commanders offense? 4th best scoring offense, 5th most yards, and the matchup favors Washington's D as well. 4th best passing defense. Dan Quinn, he's going to throw the sink at Penix. Atlanta pretty average on both sides of the ball. 19th in scoring allowed. Record the fewest sacks. Dirty Birds 1-4-1 against the spread their last 6. Let's make it 1-5-1 ATS last 7. Give me the Commanders in this spot.
J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. 3 NFL games for this Sunday. 3 straight, 3 2-team parlays, 1 week, $99. His Pro Football Triple Crown must go 3-0 or the entire NFL season is free. J.A. Cavaliers Pro Football Triple Crown. Link in the description below. Click the link now and jump on the money train.
That's right, guys. Get to ylose.com. That's the letter Y, LOSE.com. Free picks, stats, trends, scores, odds, and more. That's ylose.com. The letter Y, LOSE.com. You can see free picks from yours truly. Also, Prop Master Luke Shuey. Soccer, if you're into soccer, you're into that little kickball, make sure you go check out Neil McDonald. If you're into combat sports, UFC, boxing, Punchy's there to deliver. Coach Rick Bowe, always a follow. College sports specialist. He is our man when it comes to everything campus. And then, of course, you have Les Victori. He's Canadian Bacon, handles all the NHL, everything on the ice. Get over to ylose.com. That's the letter Y, LOSE.com. You want the rest of the NFL season, you can get that right now for $100. Link in the description below. We will still find value in the NFL. Actually, I'm going to come out with an elite football special. Make sure you guys get all of my big bets, the games I have 5, 10, 20,000 on. We're going to come up with that special. Actually, we'll drop that link in the description below as well. Well, that's it for me this week. I am your favorite capper, J.A. Cavalier. This has been Player Performance NFL Week 17. We'll see you guys back here to close out the season next week with NFL Week 18. But until then, remember, yesterday's a memory. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. You're here right now. You're alive. Let's make it count.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation.